Hello everyone. Today I am here to give you a brief introduction to our newspaper resource, Newspaper Archives. Newspaper Archives is the go-to resource we use when we are seeking any of the newspapers prior to 1985, and we mainly use this when we are looking for a specific story or, more often than not, an obituary. If you start from the Kanawha Library website at kanawhalibrary.org, and then press the Search Site button here on the top right-hand side, you just simply type in newspaper. Once you perform the search, you should find two newspaper resources at the top of the list. The first is Newspaper Archives, Charleston Historical Papers, while the second is Charleston Newspapers Online Index. The online index is just an index. It starts from 1985 and moves up to today. There are some full text options there, but it is not the original scan of the newspaper. We usually use that to track down information in newer papers. Today, we're going to focus on the historic papers. So we simply press View Resource, and from here, it will usually ask us to sign in with our card number and PIN. So I simply type in my library card number here. And then from there, it will bring us to the Newspaper Archive main page. Now, there are many ways to utilize Newspaper Archive. The first is to simply type in the name you're looking for, while the second is looking up by keyword. Now, if you are one of the brave individuals or somebody who just likes browsing through, you can choose from the top of the list, Browse by Date. And when you choose Browse by Date, you'll be able to choose from the drop-down menus here. As you can see, we have United States, West Virginia, and you can choose the city. I usually will simply stick with Charleston. And under publication, it will list the different newspapers, including the Daily Mail, the Gazette Mail, and the Gazette itself, as well as some of the other ones in the area. For example, I'm going to use Daily Mail in this case and press Go. And once this loads, we'll be able to see all of the years for the newspaper in question. As you can see here, the Charleston Daily Mail, we have issues available back to 1914. So if we wish to check out any of these, we simply click on the year, and then from here we would choose the individual month and day. In this case, let's say we want to see May 21st of 1939. We would just simply click on that, and that will take us to the scans of that original newspaper. Now, everything you need to load is within the browser itself. It will bring up the page in question, which you can then use next page to move from page to page in the newspaper. If you find a section that you are interested in, you can simply press the Save Image button up here on the top left side, so you can save the page either as an image or as a PDF for future use, whether you are sending it to somebody else or wanting to have it for your own digital collection for your genealogy project. Now, if you didn't want to browse through by the date and location, you can simply go back to the Newspaper Archive main site and perform a search. Now, let's say, for example, that we are looking up a quite literal John Smith. Now, as you can see, by typing in John Smith, we are presented with 927,874 results. Because of how generic that name is, we absolutely will want to narrow it down. Now, the search engine here will search everywhere in a catalog reference for both of these names, John and Smith, and they don't always have to be together. So because of this, let's go to Revise Your Search and start finding ways to narrow this down. For example, let's say that we know that Mr. Smith here passed away in 1949, but we're not certain when. So I would simply just choose 1949 and change the dates to a specific range. Now, if you know of a specific death date, it's always a good idea to add a couple days before and after, just in case you find something else relating to it, such as the incident that may have caused the death being written about before the actual death itself, as well as to factor in the necessary time to get an obituary submitted and published. And from here, if you also wish to narrow it down by location, you are welcome to do so. I always avoid this solely because we never know where some of these were originally published. As you can see, we've narrowed it down to under 13,000 results versus the near 1 million results that we started with before. We could add additional terms such as passed away or survived by if we were looking for an obituary, or if we were just simply looking up information about John Smith, we could just browse through and find any of the articles that may have been of interest to us. As you can see, we are given a link for the actual page itself, but we are also given a sample of the actual text on the page. So if you find one that looks like it's accurate, you simply click on the title of the newspaper. It will give you information on the publication at the top of the page, and then it'll jump down into our built-in reader so we can actually see what is happening on that individual page. And from here, you will see that it automatically highlights whatever our search terms were. You'll see that both John Smith, as well as the individual appearances of Smith and John, are highlighted. It will highlight every appearance of the words that we are looking for. And again, like before, if we wish to save this, we simply click on the Save Image icon up here, and then choose how we wish to save it. That should cover the bases that you need to get started with newspaper archives. Should you have any questions, please do not hesitate to reach out to the library through our Facebook page or through our chat service listed on our main website. I hope this helps get you started. Have a good day and happy searching.